Hello, everybody. It's Friday. It's midday. It's Wow Ergonomics. Stephen, you're back.
Hello, I'm back. Yeah, I am. Hello, everyone. I did watch last week's show. Excellent. Really enjoyed it. It is weird when I'm not here on a Friday and you sort of come back the following week and it feels like months, but it was only a fortnight. So I sort of got everything ready and thought, seems like ages since I did Wow, but it was only 2 weeks.
Yeah. Any good takeaways from last week's show?
Any good takeaways? Again, so it was a show. It was one of the shows of a reseller, someone who sells our product. They invited a lot of their end users in. So, and that's often the missing link. And I think I've touched on this in the show. The missing link for us as a manufacturer is you don't spend enough time talking to the people who ultimately will be using the product. You spend a lot of the time talking to the people who will be selling it on your behalf, hence the resellers. So it's always good insight to talk to people who look at the product and try and go, actually, I can see where that would fit into my business. I can relate to the problems that you're talking about. The classic one that we've touched on before, people who've never seen a vertical mouse. Somebody said to me, is that a printer?
What? Oh, like a little
printer.
Thermal printer,
don't Dymo make a little printer that prints labels?
About to say, like Dymo printers.
Yeah. And so, is that a printer? I said, no, it's and they were like, and again, it's the usual thing. They try and it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Wow. How have I never known about this? So that comes up more often than not is people haven't seen different types of mousing input devices. So that's always my little favorite takeaway. They go, what's that? They use it and go, oh my God, I've got to get one of these.
I love that. Imagine that actually, if you press the button on your mouse and that little bit of tape. They used to make that noise as well. Probably don't anymore. Sorry, Dymo. But they used to make that kind of noise, and then you had a little cut thing on it, didn't you, to cut it,
and then you stuck it,
And then I have to say, you used to take ages to try and get the backing off it to stick it anywhere.
You could never sort of split the backing and the label. You would pick, and then you ended up, because you screwed it up, you had to print another one off and go through the whole damn process again, didn't you?
I'm sure they got an awful lot better.
They did.
I'm sure they did. Anyway, it's the beginning of March, so welcome to a new month, everybody. This year is going so fast already.
Yeah.
And I did put a little list for anyone that could be asked to read it. I did put a little list of things that maybe we ought to be thinking about going into March on the post of this. So there's something for you to all read. But it's at this point in the year that a lot of businesses need to start thinking about, are our initiatives for this, that, or the other actually working? We've now had a couple of months of getting them going.
Yeah.
Are they actually working? Are they not working? Are we heading in the right direction? Yeah, there you go. Just looked amazing. Wondering how it works better. Yeah, we're talking about the Dymo machines again. Thanks, Marianne, for watching. It was Marianne that actually found us, Lizzie, today, and we'll find out a little bit more about our guest as we introduce her now. So let's take that off and say hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Lizzie, where are you coming from?
So I am in southern Spain at the moment. Yes.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I bet there's no rain there, is there, Lizzie?
We have had some rain.
Oh, have you?
We have had a little bit of rain, which was really rude of the weather.
Yeah.
But it's mostly sunshine. The wind is a little bit cold, but then it is winter. So
now, Lizzie, we'll get to know you a little bit better any minute now and find out a bit about who you are, what you do, and what you want to talk to us about. But first, I have to say, what a wonderful piece of crochet that you're sitting against. That's your handiwork. You've done that?
Yeah. That got me through one winter a few years ago.
Yeah.
I just crocheted it and it just grew over my legs in the winter. It was wonderful.
Do you know what? I'm sorry to say this to all of the office seating manufacturers that might be watching today, but wouldn't that be wonderful if you could actually get seat covers that look like that?
Yeah, it would brighten up the life, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Isn't
I
it?
tell you what, though, this is a really good day for me to join you because I'm a Welsh girl and it's St. David's Day.
It really
Yes, it
is.
is. Absolutely.
Yeah. What would you say in Wales if you were in Wales today? What's the thing to say to other people?
Oh, it depends whether you're Welsh speaking or not.
Well, no, yeah, let's go for the Welsh speaking. I won't be able to say it. 'cause
No,
I'm
no,
terrible.
no, no. Let's not go for the Welsh
Oh,
speaking.
okay, let's not. Okay.
I can only say happy birthday, and it's not, it's not either of our birthdays, is it?
Oh,
No.
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 The thing with sort of St. David's Day and St. George's Day and all that thing, we don't sort of make a big sort of thing of it, do we? I mean, I sort of go, saw it was St. David's Day, but it's not really a big thing. Was it ever a big thing, and we don't make a big thing of it anymore?
I think it is still a big thing in Wales. The children,
Right.
the girls will be wearing their national costume and
Okay.
going to school with their daffodils and their leeks and things. And I had a baby on St. George's Day.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, 30 years ago, mind, but
There you go.
So, yeah.
I have to say, it was a massive thing when I was at school because when I was at middle school, I was greedy. See, I went to 3 schools. We had a middle school.
Yeah.
But when I went to middle school, we were in different houses, and the houses were the different saints. So I was in St. David's. So it was that was very very relevant. So we all had purple badges and purple bits in our tie, and then there were St. Patrick's and St. George's, and I think actually the St. George's lot were the scruffy lot. As far as I can remember, I used to see more St. George's ties just left around places than anywhere else. Yeah, I don't know why. They just always seem to get the scruffy kids.
Did they make a big? Obviously, you're in Spain, Lizzie. Is it a big thing out there with Saints' Days? Is it something? Do they get involved as far as do they go to national holidays or things like that?
I think they do, and as it's a Catholic country, then it follows those national days as well, and it is a big thing out here.
Yeah. Marianne says hi. How do you know Marianne, by the way?
I've known her for years, and I can't remember how we originally met. But years.
She'll probably know, and she'll probably remind us now in the chat any minute now. So yeah, we want to find out about what it is that you do, but also I did spot. Is that a dog picture up behind you?
Yes, that was my first dog.
Oh,
I had an Australian Labradoodle.
A Labradoodle, lovely.
Yeah, she was, and there she is, saying, "I'll have some of your ice cream," but she didn't get any of my ice cream.
Didn't she?
No.
Oh.
No, it was mine.
Back before, dog ice cream was very popular.
Yeah, it is now, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
massively.
she died at 10, and so that would have been 5. Yeah, and that was 4 years ago when she died. So that was quite a long time ago.
Do you have another dog with you now or not?
I did have another dog, but she's since died as well.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. We've got a dog next door who you can hear, maybe.
Occasionally in the background.
I'm not saying I'm wishing that this dog was asleep right now, but it would be nice if it was a little bit more quiet. There we go. So tell us all about you, Lizzie. What is it you do? And tell us, we know you're in Spain, but you're in a motorhome, right?
Yes, so we live in a motorhome. So 2020, we it came around as a solution to a problem. My husband was working in Brussels. He worked for a bank at the time, and he lived in a flat. And he would come home once a month, and I would go out once a month, and it was all a bit ships in the night. And he said, "Would you like to come and live in Brussels?" And I thought, yes, I really would like to go and live in Brussels. But the flat he was living in, you couldn't take the dog. And I said, so I had a rescue dog at that time, Rosie. And so we had to find a solution to the problem of where to live. And Pete is really good at solutions. And he said, "We'll buy a motorhome and we will live in it during the week. I will go to work. And then at the weekend, we can tour Europe and it's going to be absolutely wonderful." Well, we bought the motorhome and he came home. It was in COVID at the time, so it was all a bit up and down. And he came home and he said, "Oh, they've cancelled my contract. Unfortunately, you're not coming to Brussels. And I'm leaving on the 31st of December, and we're in this motorhome." And we'd rented out our home, because we had a 6-bedroom family home at the time. We rented it out to a couple of the kids, and we really didn't want to go back and live with them. So so we decided, let's do the winter and see what we think. We'd had a caravan a few years ago when we had the car to pull it and the kids to take on holiday. And we thought, well, let's just give it a go. And we loved it so much that we decided to sell the house. And yes, we had to evict 2 of the children with some money to go and buy houses and deposits on houses. And we've been here ever since. And now we're 2024 and we're absolutely loving it.
That's amazing. And how much do you move about from one place to another?
Well, that's the thing. When we lived in Cheltenham, we were on the same campsite for like 3 years, which wasn't the plan when we bought the motorhome, but that was just a brilliant solution to the not going to Brussels problem. And then last year we decided, well, COVID's over now. We never bought the motorhome to live on one campsite. Let's just do something different. And so we booked 90 days in Spain, and that is why we're here over the winter, because chipping the water from the tap to get water during the winter in the UK was really quite miserable. So we thought, yeah, let's go and have some sunshine and see what Spain in the winter's all about.
Yeah.
We can see a little bit of sunshine sort of coming through the window there. We're envious. I'm looking out the window, and it's just probably the same with you, Graham. If you look to your left, isn't it, out of your window, and it's just rain clouds and miserable. And I'm thinking, what's that thing? What's that bright thing in the background there? What's the sun?
Oh yeah, we don't have that hit yet. Maybe it will appear at some point. So I've been told you're big into sustainability.
Yes. Right? So probably when the kids were little, I did the terry nappies thing. You had the triangle and you tried not to stab your baby. Well, my kids are in their 30s now, and I kind of moseyed on with a bit of recycling. And then, I don't know, did you watch Blue Planet and David Attenborough, and he's showing us what the plastic situation is doing to our oceans, to our aquatic life? And that really got me thinking. And so that got me starting my first eco cleaning business, and then has got me to the company that I'm with now. And just thinking about sustainable living, how can we reduce our impact on the planet by just making small sustainable swaps? And that's what it's all about. It's not about, for me anyway, living the most perfect 100% plastic free lifestyle, because I don't do really hard. So it's about making those small, easy swaps and doing what we can. And it started with the single-use plastic, and it's just filtered through to other areas of my life. How we travel. We sold the car before we bought this, and we didn't need a car anymore. And at that time, 2 of our children were living at home and they had cars, so I could just borrow one. A little bit more difficult now commuting from Spain, but so we ditched the car and using bus and train, and then I got a tricycle. I've got a red tricycle with a huge basket on the back. Rosie loved riding my tricycle, and I do my shopping and travel everywhere I can now by my tricycle and bus. And we went to Madrid on the train, which was a fabby experience. 3 trains and a bus to get there. And it's just about picking different areas of your life. Money. Who knew that your pension and your bank account could have an impact on the planet? Because it's all about where they're investing your money. Are they investing in fossil fuels, arms? So some bank accounts are greener than others. So just ticking off those boxes, slowly just chipping away. Yeah. And that got me to the business business that I'm with now, and advocating to ditch as much single-use plastic out of our lives as we can.
Which is brilliant, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Stephen, you want to come in here because obviously this is something that Backer have looked at as well, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the packaging thing is something we've looked at to start with, and I've seen some more sort of innovations we've got coming out in the next few weeks where we're changing. I mean, simply changing the packaging that our product comes in. So previously using like plastic sleeves to now using cardboard sleeves. One of the things I really like that a number of people have really sort of picked up on and enjoyed as well is the fact that we're putting QR codes for our instructions on the product. So whilst it's only maybe a single sheet or 2 sheets of paper, we no longer print that and put it inside our product. There's now a QR code. If someone wants to go and look, zap the QR code, and where's the QR code? Is it on the packaging? No, it's on the product. So it's just little things like that, and you know, changing the material. So you know, we've now gone to 100% acrylic on our plastic products. We use pet felt, which is recycled water bottles. So we sort of taken some original product designs and we've brought alternatives out in pet felt. So lots and lots of different things, whether it's the material you use for the product or the packaging. Now, obviously, it's quite a challenge. Ultimately, we are making, you know, we do have electronic products in our range. It's difficult. There's a limitation what you can do with some of those electronic products. But I think the thing we've tried to focus on is not just necessarily the material, but the life span of the product. So by making products that last longer, you're not buying something that's a lower cost that you're replacing 2, 3, or 4 times. You know, we give our products that are electronic, we give them a 5-year guarantee, and our non-electronic products have a lifelong guarantee. So by making them better in the first place, there isn't that need to constantly buy. Actually, yes, spend a little bit more at the start to get a good quality product. It's going to last. And that, as well as the material, that longevity, to me, is equally as important around sustainability, as well as what the product's actually made from, and the packaging as well itself.
Yeah, that's fabulous. And I'm thinking about what happens to that product at the end of its useful life as well. I've just recently changed my toothbrush to an electric toothbrush, and the brand that I chose is fully repairable, it's recyclable, and you send the heads back to the company. Nothing ends up in landfill. And it's just thinking about the whole life cycle. I love it.
No, I think anything anybody can do to kind of improve that whole piece around buy better is really important, though. I mean, I think we've in particular, we've kind of become a society where we just buy throwaway stuff all of the time. And it's unfortunately it's one of the first things everybody asks, isn't it? At the beginning of the conversation is, well, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
You know, but how are we thinking about cost? You know, because
it's the old cost versus price, isn't it?
Yeah.
The price is how much is going to go out of my bank account, or how much is on that invoice. The cost is more than what the financial impact is. It's the other associated costs that go with it. And you made a great point there, Graham. I think we've had this conversation a few times where we've done exhibitions or shows, and a lot of the time the first question is, how much does it cost? Not what does it do, not what value can it bring, not how long will it last, how much does it cost? And as you say, I think that sort of, mentality is the right word, but that sort of way of thinking as to the first thing is, what do the numbers look like on it? Well, actually put the numbers to one side, look at what it does, what does it deliver, what's the benefits, then marry it up with the cost, and then go, is it giving me value for money? And I think it's just that little shift in mindset. And I guess when we're going through something like a cost of living crisis that we have for a number of years, because it probably is 2 or 3 years if you go back to everything that's gone on with COVID and Ukraine and all that sort of thing, I can see where that can fall back in, where people who have got to make a financial choice, or businesses who have got to make a financial choice, that just sort of becomes the sort of default position. But it's getting people away from that and thinking about it differently.
It is. definitely. I mean, I recently bought. Well, we recently bought a new vacuum cleaner, and one of the things that I wanted to look at was how long was the guarantee on it, but also how much were like the parts for it before even. I know it's weird, isn't it? I mean, you have to get into this headset. How much are parts, replaceable parts for it, and how much can you replace on it? Yeah, and because if you can keep that thing going with relatively inexpensive replaceable parts, and it's got a 5-year warranty in the first place, and you could perhaps get it to last for 7 odd years, then that's, that means you're only going to buy one of them for 7 years. Whereas so many of the machines that are out there have maybe a 2-year warranty, and they're designed to go wrong within 2 years. So you have to buy another one. What happens to that? You're going to take it to the dump, and it's
And that's the problem, isn't it? Some of the product, and this whatever field you're talking about, some of the product that's lower in price tends to be the things that you can't get the replacement parts for. So again, it's that, like you said, Graham, it's thinking through the whole sort of decision-making process around buying something. Is, can I get this, if something goes wrong, yes, I might have to pay a little bit more to start with, but can I keep it going for 7, 8, 10, 12 years just by buying this part every year, rather than every 2 years going brand new unit, brand new unit, brand new unit. It's that, as I say, it's that initial outlay. It's understanding, if I have that initial outlay, will it give me value for money? And the sun's distracting, isn't it?
It's coming at me at all angles. Oh dear me, a problem to have, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, as I say, we've forgotten about that. We'll be joyous as soon as we have that problem again in the UK, and we're look, too much sun. Actually, now that I've moved to this studio here, the window is quite a long way away from me. Remember, I used to have that problem where I was right by the window.
Yes,
and suddenly, like a shroud of light would come across me. Won't be a problem at all here.
It's a nice problem to have, Lizzie. It's a nice problem to have. So
go on, Steve.
No, go on, Graham. It's all right. Carry on.
I was going to say, so your current business, Lizzie, is that you're selling cleaning type products?
Yes, so I sell eco-friendly, refillable cleaning products, and they're probiotic as well. And the whole point is ditching this single-use plastic, refilling aluminium bottles, and using the power of probiotics to clean, not harsh toxic chemicals, because that was the only option years ago. Yeah.
See, when I hear the word probiotics, I'm thinking of like yogurts.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So bacillus is the same bacteria in yogurts, and we feed our gut with it, but we can also clean with it, because bacillus is, it's Mother Nature. It's how Mother Nature works, and we use the bacillus to actually gobble up all the bad bacteria on the surfaces, and just make it so much easier to clean. And then you're creating this gorgeous microbiome in your home instead of making everything really sterile. Mother Nature doesn't go around killing 99.9% of everything dead. She just creates this gorgeous microbiome that then elbows out the bad, and makes that really healthy environment to live in. And so we've harnessed that in our cleaning products.
You see, I'm really interested in this whole area because I don't know whether you experienced this at all, Stephen, but during the COVID period where we were all locked down and we were all, masks on all of the time, and we were all washing our hands 50 million times a day and all of that sort of thing, right? As soon as we started going back outside, everybody got a cold. Everybody got ill. Did you find that? I mean, it struck me that we understood that, that's what was necessary at the time. But it just kind of shows you, doesn't it? As soon as we get the bleach out or the antibacterial out and whatever, and we start killing everything, suddenly we as humans are very, very, very vulnerable to everything that's out there,
Yeah.
because ultimately we're making everything so sterile that it's, as soon as we get any germs on us again, we're vulnerable.
Yeah. I mean, sterile has its place, doesn't it? We need sterile in hospitals. And
Sure.
if somebody is health vulnerable, then they probably need a different environment. But for the vast majority of us, our bodies are designed to cope, are designed to throw off the pathogens and things if we create the best environment for us. Oh dear me, that just went dark then. And for the vast majority of us, we don't need to be killing 99.9% of everything dead, because what happens then is the bad bacteria comes back stronger because there's nothing there. So create a good environment with the positive, healthy bacteria that then multiplies. That's what fights off the bad. It's amazing science behind it, and it's coming more into hospitals as well now.
Yeah. I just wonder, Stephen, have you seen evidence? I know, like in the middle of COVID, etc., or as people started going back to the office, I know that there were a lot of companies that were really nervous about sort of desk sharing and product sharing and whatever else. But have people kind of relaxed that a little bit more now? Are people?
Yeah, I think so. I have to say, I think it's almost. I'm hesitant to say this, but it's in some cases it's almost if it never that period never took place, and I think in some ways that's quite good. I think the main focus now, which is good again, is a lot of it's focused around getting people working together and collaborating, and maybe the focus around mental health, that actually that isolation of people spending too much time on their own working from home actually isn't good for them. So I think that to me is where the shift has gone to, or is the pattern we're seeing now, is that focus around getting people working together and collaborating and talking and focusing around maybe more the mental health side, and that period was around the physical health side. So I just don't see that being really a key focus for people anymore. I think there's been a shift, and that's not to say there's anything wrong with that, because I think the mental health side is really, really important. That isolation that came from COVID, we need to get people back into that habit of getting in the office, mixing with people, talking with people, conversations good, and not working in absolute silos that they were doing and probably carried on for a period of time.
Yeah. How do you find working out of your motorhome?
It has its ups and downs, and that's probably one of the challenges, is because we're digital nomads. The one challenge is that internet connection. So
although it's pretty good today,
it is really good, because on this campsite there's fiber optic internet connection. I know, nice. How fabulous is that? We do have our own Wi-Fi unit on board, but that links to 5G, and it wasn't good enough in the area of Spain that we're in to do the sort of work that I needed to do. So we just signed up for fiber optic, and we're well happy. A bit of a first world problem, really, isn't it? But that's our lifestyle, and that's something that we really, really rely on, is a good internet connection.
Yeah. What about in terms of comfort and kind of working obviously in a space that's not necessarily designed for work?
Well, we didn't stint when we bought this motorhome, so we bought it second hand, but we bought quite a big one. So it's 8.21 meters long. We have got a separate bedroom, bathroom, kitchen. The bathroom's probably the size of somebody's wardrobe, but it's there. It's got all its bells and whistles. And then we've got a very big living area here with a table, sofa, chairs. And then we've got the outside, and that's where we really live, is outside, and that's just brilliant.
Yeah, actually, I mean, working outside has its own challenges in terms of using tech, like the sun.
Yeah, we've got now we're here for 90 days. We've got a porch, and that's up permanently, and that's our kitchen area and everything out there. And this campsite's really good. There's lots of trees, so you can get away from the sunshine.
Yeah.
I should really say that, should I?
Because
But
one
on
of
the
the things,
screen, it can be a challenge, can't it?
yeah, one of the things we always say on this show is we always say to a guest, if they can do us a bit of a sort of a, it's not a what, is it a 360 or a 180, but take us a little photograph of what your workstation looks like, because what we always do, and we will do this for you, Lizzie, when you're a bit more permanent, we like to send you out a little bit of Baccarel cows and kit to help you work better. So it'd be great at some point if you could take us that pic and see how we can make everything a little bit more comfortable for you if we can.
Fabulous. That is, because I'm sitting up to, I've got my laptop and I've got my bits here and everything, but it's just that multifunctional space, isn't it? Because I'm not sitting on an office chair anymore. I'm sitting on effectively a pile of foam, aren't I? And so that's a challenge for working long days and things like that. But it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I'll go off down the beach now and have a walk and a ride on my bike. And
well, I was going to say, with that's the thing. A lot of people will say that, oh, you've got to have this or you've got to have that. But ultimately, I mean, you could have the best office chair in the world, but if you were sat at it for 15 hours a day and you don't move, it's not going to be it's not going to be great for you. Whereas, if you've got the beach down the road and you can break in the middle of the day and get down the beach for a swim, and you can actually go for a swim. I know there's nutters in this country that go for a swim regardless of what the temperature is, but they are nuts. But
a question for you, Graham, from your DSE world, your DSE life, I should say. Ever do an assessment on someone in a motorhome?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've done assessments several times actually for people that are living in motorhomes.
What's the biggest challenge that someone? I mean, obviously, I know there's the space limitation, but is it what Lizzie said there? Is it around some of the? Is it the obvious thing that the comfort when sitting? Is that the biggest challenge that you would come across?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest challenges is overcoming the sort of tied down sort of tick boxness, if you like, of DSE in some of those situations, or the organisation view of DSE, and trying to apply proper common sense to the situation as opposed to, because a lot of organisations would go, well, they're not working in an office. Really, what I'd like them to do is work in a space where they can have a desk and a chair and a this and a that. And clearly, that's not going to happen, because you're not going to rip out what you're sitting on and put an office chair in there. It's just not that, So it's I suppose from my point of view, it's about working with the individual and the organisation and talking common sense about, well, because I'm on a more static chair, for example, how often should one go and get away from that chair? Yeah.
My husband bought a really good cushion to sit on, and that seems to have helped him.
It gives a little bit of adjustment,
bit more support as well, I think. And he's got one of those stands to put his laptop on that kind of raises it a little bit and
there we go.
Angles it. So there's things that you can do, and I've been really good. I do a job as well, so I do a job online 2 days a week, but it's very much user led. It's what it's not prescriptive. Oh, you need this chair and da 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 da. It's very much, well, what do you think you need to be able to do the job effectively and not go off sick because you've hurt your back?
Correct.
And then I'll get up every hour and I'll have a stretch and I'll walk around and I'll come back again.
And again, it's really trying to think of those things that are like that could be really useful outside of the more fixed elements of the environment. So can you go for a walk and make notes? Can you maybe use, is there a cafe nearby or something that you can go to work in occasionally as well? So yes, thank you, Philip Johns, keep moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you utilize other places?
I think I probably could, but they're too busy. So I just prefer to stay here, get my work done,
and then go
out. But my husband, he's just taken his laptop and he goes off. He seems to be able to block everything out a lot more than me, but I need the fiber optic to do my day job. And he doesn't. He takes the Wi-Fi off with him, and because he's only building websites and things.
Right.
Yeah,
but that's it. It's using a lot of common sense. It's working with what people have. You know, and that's why there's no clear answer as well.
Yeah.
Because as you say, what your husband does or needs or can do mentally, or in terms of blocking things out, is different from you. Yeah. And that's why when anyone looks at it and goes, well, let's prescribe something for this, or let's prescribe that, it doesn't work.
Yeah. But you made a great point before, Graham, because you said you could have the best office chair, but if you sit in it for 15 hours a day, the fact it's the best office chair is no good. And I think what Philip said there, and we've always spoken about, it's movement, it's changing that posture. It's, you can have all the right kit, which is the phrase, all the gear, no idea, isn't it? You can have all the right stuff, but if you don't use it and you don't do other little things, that's why Graham said, it's not just, there's a list of things, do that and everything will be okay. Yeah. You've got to keep movement. You've got to keep, like you say, getting up, I don't know, every 45, 50 minutes, an hour, leg stretch. Yeah, I mean, and some of the things we've sort of spoke about on the show, haven't we? I always remember Alison Thompson, I think it was, who came on and she mentioned about putting the phone charger or put on the other side of the room, or your mobile phone. So if the mobile phone rings, you don't just go, hello. You've actually got to get up, move, go and get the phone, finish the conversation, put it down, back to you. And that, little things like that aren't about investing in equipment. It's good habits. Someone also said to me, another one, I think, again, someone we had on the show, but I'd heard it before. If you use a printer, put the printer in a different room. So if you print something off, print something off, you need to get up and you need to go and get it, not rather than having it under the desk and just sort of there you go. Actually, just little things like that can sort of put movement into your day, not by buying anything, but just by thinking about where do you put things, where do you place things, how do you set yourself up?
Well, probably the weirdest things that I've ever written in a report, you'll love this, Lizzie, are one, I said with one lady in one office, it was in the report that we were going to move the stapler, right?
Okay.
Because part of her role,
stay with him.
Yeah, part of her role every single day was that she'd get these reports that were put onto her desk, and she would have to long arm staple them. One of those big long arm staplers, right? And actually, it's really not good for you to use a long arm stapler sat down anyway, because you're actually trying to use it like that, as opposed to like just using your arm straighter. So we moved the stapler. We actually tied it to a piece of string and put it nearer the window area, and then she had to get up and use it on the table. But it made her get up from her desk. Yeah, it's a really, really simple thing. And another one which you'll love. This is actually a chief executive of a bank who shall remain nameless, but who told me that he was far too busy to ever have a break. And this is a true life story. So I said, "What's your motivation?" And he said, "Money." And so I got him to open his wallet and give me some money out of his wallet as part of the thing. And I wrote all of this in the report. And I gave that money to his secretary. And I said, "You're going to do this every single week." I gave that money to his secretary, no word of a lie. And I said, "Your secretary is now going to go and buy you a coffee with that money every day at the Pret a Manger," well done, Pret, who were on the bottom floor of this building, right? And they're going to leave it there. And then they're going to tell you that it's been ordered and it's ready for you. And it's up to you. You're either going to waste your money and leave it to get cold, or you're going to go down and get it.
Get off your backside.
And you know what? They went down and got it because they didn't want to waste their money. And they did it for a week. And do you know what? They actually personally thanked me and said, "You know what? Not only did I get to move, but I started having meetings with some of my managers that I never really conversed with when I got down to the coffee area. And I found out more about what was going on in this business." And that was brilliant. Oh, look, the Wi-Fi's gone.
Oh, no.
Oh no, Mr. Kippering, bring it back. Oh dear. Well, look, that was wonderful. Hopefully,
Oh, that's a shame.
we might get our guest back. We might not get
Yeah,
our guest back.
it seemed excellent. I mean, we were chatting away, and it was almost like she was next door. Wi-Fi was fabulous.
That's the thing with Wi-Fi. Suddenly, it can let you down, and suddenly go. Maybe the Spanish Inquisition happened.
Yeah. I was just looking at the top and looking at the time, and I had this situation yesterday. So I spoke with one of our sort of reselling partners yesterday, and he hadn't got Teams, so we did Zoom. And then you know what happened? We got to the 40 minutes, and it just cut. If you don't have the sort of the expensive version, after 40 minutes, it just cuts you off. And I just suddenly looked and thought, it says 40 minutes in the top. I wonder if it's some sort of
well, no,
time.
No, don't worry. I've paid for this, and we can carry on going as long as we, literally can go on all day, etc. Got to come. Wi-Fi is a joke at the moment. Yeah, Wi-Fi is a joke at the moment.
I'm finding that at the moment. I'm finding that mine is like supposed to be the super duper version. And I've had a couple of times on this show where I've said to you afterwards, I was on like a 5-second delay. Now today it's working really well. Yeah. Probably because the people upstairs who use it for FIFA and Fortnite and maybe are not in the building at the moment, but I have found that generally it's even when they're not, I found it really, really poor at the moment. So
well, here's a little thing about Wi-Fi that I have discovered, and I don't know whether this is entirely true, but this is what I've heard, which is that a lot of us in the UK don't have full fibre, right? Yeah, we've only got bran flakes. No, a lot of us in the UK, sorry, couldn't help it. A lot of us in the UK have only got fibre to the end of our road, and then what we've got from the end of our roads to our houses or to our offices is copper still, and that copper cable is as old as the hills. And I think when we've had a lot of damp weather, which is what we've had recently,
right,
that's what then interferes with it because that copper cabling gets damp. You see,
so it just goes full circle all the way back to the start of the conversation. We talked about the weather. It's the weather's fault. The damn Wi-Fi is playing up.
Yep. If the weather outside is frightful, then the Wi-Fi is not delightful.
Wrong time of year, Graham. That's when it's snowing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, it was wonderful to see Lizzie today.
Really
thank you, Lizzie.
It'd be great if we get back in touch at some point, because there was so many things about. I really wanted to understand more about the process around the products you did. So how does that work as a sort of a consumer story? What's the consumer journey like? They buy the product. How does the refilling work and all those sort of things? You see these things in supermarkets about refilling cereals and rices and pastas and all those sort of things, but it'd be really interesting with something like what she's doing. That's a whole lot different where you're talking with cleaning products. What does it look like as I'm a consumer? Tell me more about the story. Maybe at some point we can catch up with her and find out a little bit more. Maybe when she's back in the UK or Italy or France or Portugal or wherever she's off next.
But it's also nice, and it's not the first time we've had one on the show, but it's also nice to kind of meet and listen to someone that is a digital nomad, because that it's a group of people that is increasingly growing out there. I'm guessing actually with the cost of living crisis, we may see more people living out of motorhomes, etc. in the future, as opposed to there she is.
Well, that was a little bit of excitement. The power just went off.
The power went off. We were blaming the Wi-Fi, and there it is. Stephen was just asking, just before we finished today, just tell us a little bit about your kind of consumer journey in terms of the refilling of the product, etc. How does that work? How do people, when they've got their canisters or whatever, how do they then get the refill?
So everything is done online. So we've got
what you can pour liquid in online. That's brilliant.
We've got a warehouse in the UK, so everything gets shipped to my customers from there. So I don't get involved with that at all. And you get a little sachet, and I haven't got one here. I'll show. Comes in a little sachet. You tear it, pour it into your bottle, and then you dilute it at home. Because when we go to the supermarket, we're getting products that are 95% water. So we think, get the water out of the tap, and dilute stuff at home, and that's
That
much
makes
more
sense.
environmentally friendly. Yeah.
That
At
makes
the
a lot of
moment,
sense.
they're plastic because the biologicals would just fight their way out of
Yeah.
anything else. But that is the only thing. And then that soft plastic gets sent back to the company and gets recycled. So nothing needs to go into landfill.
Fabulous.
So, yeah. So we just need some enterprising students that can create a material that's not plastic, can contain the probiotics, and then we wouldn't have to use single-use plastic.
Or maybe we
like
go
that.
back to medieval times and use pig's bladders or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe. But it's just chipping away at those
Yeah.
single-use plastic things. How can you make the process good without then going, oh, it's not perfect, let's not do anything? Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes
Fabulous.
sense. Yeah. What a great idea. What an awfully good idea. And it's true. The thing is that, again, I mean, how much do we spend a year on sort of cleaning products or whatever? And again, I guess you would go down the supermarket lines and we go, well, yeah, that's cheap, and whatever. And we do the cheap thing, really, as opposed to necessarily spending that little bit more and caring about the environment.
But our refills are £2.50, depending on what they are. So they are really affordable. And we all clean our homes. Some do it more than others, but and it's a necessity. And then just thinking about that price and cost again, the cost to your health maybe of using a bleach product, because it's gone to your lungs, and
I always feel really ill after I use bleach, I must admit.
Yeah. Just think about that bigger picture. Yeah.
It's
price versus cost again.
Yes.
Price versus cost. There you go. Listen, it's been a pleasure to meet you. Please do take a photo and send us a photo of your workstation.
I'm going to take a photograph of you guys now, if that's all right. I mean,
No, that's fine. Yeah. Are we going on Spanish social media? That
You'll be on my Facebook.
Oh, there we go.
Picture of me's not great because the shadows and everything.
If you'd like to link to our website, that would be marvelous.
Well,
so we have a little website, which is wowergonomics.com. So if you'd like to link there, let's get a whole new audience off Facebook. That'd be marvelous.
Yeah.
Did you want to take a photo? We can pose.
Oh, I did take one actually.
Oh, you did take one.
I'll take another one. Put your best smile on. But yeah, brilliant. Well, it's been fabulous chatting to you. Thank you so much.
Fabulous chatting to you. I hope everyone's enjoyed that today. Thank you to Lizzie for coming on and joining us. Next week, do we have guests next week?
We've got a few we're talking to. We could have more. We could have more than one guest next week.
We've got guests. I've got guests lined up. But at some point we are going to have other people from your company on as well.
We are going to have other people from our company. So yes, we will make sure we have more. There's not just me that works there.
I was just going to say, by the way, very quickly before we end, because you were talking about cycling. When I've been to Holland, which is where your company are based. It's beautiful, isn't it? A lot of people cycle there, don't they? A lot of people cycle and actually cycle to and from work.
Lots. But they don't wear. But the weird thing I always find is they don't wear helmets.
Yeah.
It's like a cultural thing. Loads of bikes, brilliant. No helmets. It's like, strange.
Well, maybe they keep away from each other a bit more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we find that, and that's where I got my actual, passion for cycling is in Holland, being kind of really so blessed by the cycle paths and how far you could go and how wonderful it was. And there's me and my helmet, and they're all going, oh, what's she doing?
There you go.
But my bike, I can get up to 15 miles an hour on my bike. I wouldn't want to be coming off that bike and my head hitting something, so I'll just look silly.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
But also all of that pedal power while you're out there as well, you could then generate electricity out of that, and you could use that for something else as well. Just think about it, folks. Just think about it.
Technology, if that was there at the moment, that would be wonderful.
Yeah,
It certainly would. Until next week, this has been Wow Ergonomics. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you've watched this on Lizzie's Facebook group as well, and hello, welcome to a whole new world. We hope you've enjoyed it. Until next week, bye for now.
Bye.